Surulere. Our President Bola Tinubu has renamed the University of Maiduguri Unimaid in Borno State after former President Muhammadu Buhari. Tinubu announced this yesterday during an expanded FEC meeting at the Presidential Villa in Abuja in honor of the former Nigerian leader.
Of his memory with this special session of the Federal Executive Council expanded, and we adopt the naming of University of Maiduguri, a new name as Muhammadu Buhari University Maiduguri.
At the event, President Tinubu, who laid tribute for Buhari, described him as a man of integrity who lived a respectful life.
His life was a rebuke of vice and a refuge of virtue. The purity of his private character gave radiance to the discipline and integrity of his public service. Even in death, he maintained the serenity that defined him in life. Not a sigh, not a groan, just a quiet submission to the will of God. Such was the man Nigeria has lost. Such was the man for whom our nation now mourns. President Buhari's life was one of austere honor. He stood always ramrod straight, unmoved by the temptation of power, unseduced by applause, and unafraid of the loneliness that often visits those who do what is right.
A former Nigerian leader, Buhari, died in London on July 13 after a prolonged illness and was buried on Tuesday in a ceremony attended by dignitaries within and outside the country. United States President Donald Trump says he has ordered the Justice Department to produce additional documents related to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. It's unclear if Trump is authorizing the public release of these documents. Such action would typically require the approval of a court. It came shortly after Trump said he would sue the Wall Street Journal over an article alleging that a bounty birthday greeting bearing Trump's name was sent to Epstein in 2003 before the late financier was charged with sex crimes. In the meantime, the United States has designated the group behind the April Pahalgam attack in India, which killed 26 people, as a terrorist organization. The U.S. now lists the Resistance Front TRF as a foreign terrorist organization and specially designed global terrorist. Secretary of State Marco Rubio called the TRF a front and proxy of Pakistan-based Lashkar-e-Taiba, a UN-designated terrorist group. Rubio said in a statement that the move reflects Washington's commitment to counter terrorism and enforces U.S. President Donald Trump's call for justice over the Pahalgam killings. Meanwhile, Germany Chancellor Friedrich Merz has accepted U.S. accusations that Europe was doing too little to fund its own defense and security, but now believes they are on the same page. Merz was in the UK to boost defense ties with Germany as part of a historic friendship treaty that also aims to tackle irregular migration and promote youth exchanges. Russia's war with Ukraine has framed the early weeks of his chancellorship as US President Donald Trump's threat to impose 30% import tariffs on European Union export from 1st of August. Speaking with journalists in his first interview as Chancellor, Merz said he had now met Trump 3 times and they were on good speaking. The German Interior Ministry today confirmed it sent 81 Afghan nationals back to their home country on board a flight from Leipzig Airport. It was the first such flight conducted by the new German government under Chancellor Friedrich Merz. The government has said it aims to deport more people to Afghanistan after having held talks with the Taliban government, which Berlin does not officially recognize. Recall, Germany has been criticized for its plans to deport people to Afghanistan in spite of the human rights violations being recorded there. The talks between Berlin and the Taliban have also been seen as controversial. Global Box is reaching you live from Adamimogo 107.7 FM in Duikiti. Still to come, Israel says it regrets deadly strike on Catholic Church in Gaza. Details of these and more in a moment. Please stay with us.
Hello, good people of Ekiti State and its environment. For your private, political, family, or club meetings, and so on, of not more than 50 to 100 participants, we introduce to you Adamimogo Event Hall. Yes! Right at Olojudo's Palace, Adamimogo 107.7 FM's compound, Ido Ekiti. Ample parking space, good security, clean environment. You also have the opportunity to book for a media publicity of your event on our fast-growing social media platforms. All these for a talking. Simply visit us at Olojudo's Palace, Ido Ekiti, or call the following numbers for more inquiries: 0803 526 5812 or 0916 340 0878 or 0806 511 4430. You can also call 0806 380 8891. Adamimogo Event Hall. We are waiting for your patronage.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us again. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook via Adamimogo 107.7 FM. For happenings around you or news inquiries, please call our newsroom on this number 0915-786-827. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said his country deeply regrets that a stray ammunition hit Gaza's only Catholic church, killing 3 people sheltering there. The incident happened yesterday when an Israeli strike hit the Holy Family Church in Gaza City. Latin Patriarchate of Jerusalem, Theophilus III, which oversees the small parish, expressed sadness over the attack.
7th of July 25, radical Israelis from nearby settlements intentionally set fire near the town cemetery and the church of St. George, which dates back to the 5th century. Taive is the last remaining old Christian town in the West Bank. These actions are a direct threat to our local community first and foremost, but also to the historic and religious heritage of our sisters in holy sites. In the face of such threats, the greatest act of bravery is to continue to call this your home. We stand with you, we support your resilience, and you have our prayers.
However, Netanyahu in a statement said Israel was investigating the incident and remains committed to protecting civilians and holy sites. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has appointed a new prime minister and other key leaders in the largest government reshuffle since Russia invaded 3 years ago. Yulia Shevchenko took over as prime minister from Denis Shmyhal, who had held the post since 2020 following her confirmation on Tuesday by Ukraine's parliament. Shevchenko previously served as first deputy prime minister and minister of economic development and trade, roles that brought her in close contact with the administration of United States President Donald Trump. She was credited with negotiating a critical mineral deal between Washington and Kyiv earlier this year that helped thaw an initially frosty relationship between Trump and Zelensky. Shevchenko said on social media that she intends to focus on expanding Ukraine's domestic weapons production and the strength of its armed forces and supporting. Secretary General Antonio Guterres has said he wouldn't have liked more results from his meetings with the rival leaders of the divided island of Cyprus, while the Turkish Cypriot leader said he was very upset that there was no agreement on opening 4 new border crossings. Guterres yesterday called the meetings at the UN in New York constructive and pointed to progress on 4 of the 6 initiatives that the leaders had agreed to in March. He cautioned, however, that there is a long road ahead. Recall the Mediterranean island was divided in 1974 when Turkey invaded. Following a coup by Athens' military government, backed supporters to unite the island with Greece. Negotiations between the rivals have been stalled since 2017 when asked whether he would start a new round. Guterres responded that there is more to be done before any negotiations. On sports, the Confederation of African Football CAF has omitted Nigerian officials from list of referees and assistant referees that will officiate at the upcoming 2024 African Nations Championship. According to reports, CAF named 70 match officials for the Benia competition, which is designed for the players who feature in their country's domestic leagues. The list includes 26 referees, 26 assistant referees, and 18 video match officials. The officials are drawn from 13 member associations. CAF has over the years overlooked Nigerian officials for major competition. This edition of the CHAN will be hosted by 3 countries, Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. The competition will run from 2 to 30 August 2025. That's Global Box on Adamimogo 107.7 FM Iduikiti. Before we go, the highlight again. We told you that President Bola Tinubu has renamed the University of Maiduguri Unimaid in Borno State after former President Muhammadu Buhari. Remember, we also told you that United States President Donald Trump says he has ordered the Justice Department to produce additional documents related to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. We lastly informed you that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said his country deeply regrets that a stray ammunition hit Gaza's Holy Catholic Church, killing 3 people sheltering there.